Have you ever felt like someone was hiding something, even when they weren't saying much? A glance away, a subtle shrug, or a forced smile. Sometimes you say far more than words ever could. In today's noisy world, where everyone talks but few truly understand, the most valuable skill isn't speaking. It's observing. It's being able to read people as if they were a book. Read people like a book is not just a guide to body language or detecting lies. It's an invitation into the complex world of human psychology, where every tiny gesture reveals layers of emotion, intention, and unspoken stories. This book doesn't promise to turn you into a psychologist, nor does it encourage manipulation. Instead, it offers you sharper eyes, deeper empathy, and a refined sensitivity in communication, something anyone can develop. Right from the first chapter, the author reminds us of a simple truth. People rarely express the full truth through words alone. The way someone sits, their gaze, tone of voice, hand position, these are clues to their true inner state. But to notice these, we must learn to pause and observe. In silence, the world begins to speak. When we stop reacting and start watching, the invisible becomes visible. The truth often lies not in what's said, but in what's carefully left unsaid, in the spaces between the lines. The book goes on to explore why people often avoid being honest. Pretending, withholding, or avoiding don't always stem from bad intentions. They can be defense mechanisms. People hide emotions not to deceive, but to protect themselves. They fear being judged, misunderstood, or simply don't know how to express themselves. These emotions leave subtle traces, emotional leaks that a keen observer can detect. A slight pause, an inconsistent story, a nervous glance. These signs reveal the inner tension between what's felt and what's being said. This is where emotional intelligence, EQ, comes into play. High EQ isn't just about managing your own emotions. It's about sensing others' feelings and responding appropriately. Those with high EQ don't rush to judge. They pause, observe, and ask not just to decode, but to connect. They understand when to speak, when to listen, and when to give space for others to be their authentic selves. In the chapter on detecting lies, the book clarifies that this is not some magical gift. It's a learnable skill. When someone lies, they are forced to do two things at once: fabricate a story and act normal. That tension often shows up in their speech, behavior, and expression. However, there's no universal sign of lying. Each person is different. That's why skilled observers rely on comparing current behavior with someone's usual baseline. Any significant deviation could be a signal, but it must be approached with curiosity, not immediate judgment. What makes this book truly special is its emphasis on the art of silent observation. To observe is not merely to look, but to feel, to notice what others overlook. A skilled observer sees what's hidden: a delayed smile, a fleeting expression, a micro pause between two words. These subtle cues may seem trivial, but they often hold the deepest emotional truths. When observed with empathy, they can become bridges between hearts. Observation, however, cannot thrive in the presence of bias. Someone in a hurry might interpret every sideways glance as deceit. Someone with a negative mindset might see quiet people as untrustworthy. Therefore, correct observation requires neutrality. You must be able to look without judging, simply noting, asking, and listening. And in doing so, you begin not only to understand others, but to uncover your own emotional patterns as well. Overall, Read People Like a Book is a practical and down-to-earth guide. It doesn't demand expertise, only a sincere desire to understand people better. The author doesn't want readers to become human lie detectors, but thoughtful observers who know when to ask, when to pause, and when to truly listen beyond the surface. In a world where people are desperate to be heard but few know how to listen, the ability to read people is no longer a luxury. It's a path to deeper, more meaningful human connection. It teaches you when to lean in, when to walk away, and when to simply be present. And the miracle is, as you begin to truly see others, you also begin to see yourself. Every person is a mirror. If you observe long enough, you'll recognize unspoken emotions within yourself reflected in their face. Their silence might mirror your own loneliness. Their tension may echo your buried fears. Their averted gaze could remind you of wounds you've yet to heal. If you've ever longed for someone to truly understand you, Start by learning to understand others. If you ever felt exhausted from being misunderstood, don't rush to blame. Begin by observing those around you with an open heart. When you observe without judgment and listen with your whole presence, the world becomes more gentle, more layered, and people feel less like strangers and more like familiar souls. Train your eyes to see, your mind to question, and your heart to feel. Become the person others feel safe around, because you notice what they don't say out loud. This world isn't lacking in intelligence. It's starving for silent, compassionate understanding. If this reflection resonates with you, don't hesitate to share it. Someone out there may be longing to be seen, just like you once were.